There is a kind of silence that doesn't wait for you to be ready. It arrives, sits beside you, and asks a question most people spend their whole lives avoiding. Who are you when no one is watching? Solitude is not emptiness, it is exposure. A bare stage where excuses have nowhere to hide and the truth, your truth, stands in front of you without makeup, without noise, without the borrowed confidence that comes from being surrounded by others. Seneca once wrote, "Solitude is to the mind what food is to the body." He didn't mean comfort. He meant nourishment. He meant sharpening. He meant stripping away what is unnecessary until only your essence remains. The modern world fears this space. We drown it in screens, voices, plans, anything that keeps us from meeting ourselves. But the Stoics walked straight into it. Marcus Aurelius practiced sitting alone at dawn, long before the empire awoke, to confront his own impulses before the world could cloud his judgment. He said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." And before we go on, let me tell you something directly. These images you're seeing, they're not really about Marcus Aurelius. They're about you, about the person you meet only in silence, when no one is watching. Even these visuals are a mirror, a reminder that in a world drowning in noise, you still need a place where your mind can breathe, where your soul can speak. All right, let's continue. This is where our journey begins, not with crowds, not with noise, but with the quiet that forces you to look inward, because solitude magnifies everything. Your fears become louder, your insecurities become sharper, your desires become clearer, your weaknesses stop pretending to be strengths. This is not punishment, it is revelation. Epictetus taught, "You must become your own master before you can rule anything else." And mastery begins when the distractions fall away. Solitude is a mirror, not a void. A mirror that shows you the parts of yourself you've postponed for years. You will see the habits that drain your strength, the emotions you've trained yourself to ignore, the past that still shapes your choices, the potential you keep burying under obligations, the life you say you want, and the life you actually live. But the Stoics never saw this as something to fear. They saw it as the beginning of self-creation. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck. Instead of despairing, he said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." Why? Because solitude and loss stripped his life to the foundations and gave him clarity. Solitude is not the absence of others, it is the presence of yourself. And once you can sit alone without fear, you stop depending on the world to hold you together. You become the one who steadies your own hands, guides your own mind, builds your own character. This is the first gate, the beginning of silence, the beginning of sovereignty. Now that we've put into perspective what it means to move forward with clarity, it's time to address an obstacle we all face: distractions. Let's explore how they weigh us down and what we can do about it. Distraction is the greatest enemy of the soul. It softens resolve, clouds judgment, and numbs the mind. When you are constantly pulled in 1,000 directions, solitude and self-awareness become luxuries few dare to claim. The Stoics understood this. They knew that true clarity requires removing noise. Epictetus taught, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." What he meant is simple. The less you chase after illusions, the freer your mind becomes. Every notification ignored, every trivial argument avoided, every habit questioned, these are acts of liberation, because in each small act, you reclaim the space where your character is formed. The principle is the same. Strength is built when you resist the pull of noise. When you pause deliberately, even for a few minutes, you create a space for observation. You notice thoughts you ignored yesterday, impulses you acted on unconsciously, emotions you buried. This is the essence of mastery, to see clearly what others overlook. Solitude is not punishment. Awareness is not suffering. They are the tools by which the mind becomes unshakable. Each moment spent confronting distraction Each pause to observe your thoughts is a step toward mastery. And mastery begins with recognition. What pulls at you, what tempts you, what feeds your insecurities? Only by seeing clearly can you act deliberately. Like a soldier preparing for battle, you must anticipate the distractions that will test your mind. Ask yourself, what occupies your mind when you are alone? What shadows creep into your decisions when no one watches? The answer reveals where your true work begins, and if you face it with courage, you reclaim your power. The Stoics faced the same battle, not with data, not with crowds, but with themselves. They trained their minds, rehearsed discipline, and confronted the discomfort of truth. And so must you. For in the arena of your own mind, there is no substitute for courage, focus, and deliberate action. Let each day be a chance to observe, correct, and refine yourself. Let each distraction be a test of attention, a reminder that strength is built in the small, unseen moments. In time, these acts compound, shaping a mind that is calm, decisive, and sovereign. Having understood how distractions pull us off course, the next step is to look inward, because no real progress happens without facing our fears. Let's see how to confront them. Fear does not announce itself. It hides behind comfort, behind distractions, behind every excuse you tell yourself. But solitude strips it bare, and when fear is exposed, you have a choice: surrender or meet it head-on. Every human being carries fear. Fear of failure, of rejection, of insignificance. The world tells you to hide, to avoid discomfort, to distract yourself. The Stoics taught the opposite. Face fear deliberately, understand it, and in doing so, conquer it. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." This is the essence. Fear lives in your mind long before it touches your life, and yet we treat it as an unstoppable force. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of action despite fear. When you meet fear, you measure it, you observe it, and you act with reason rather than impulse. Imagine standing at the edge of a decision that terrifies you. The familiar voice of doubt whispers, "You are not ready. You will fail." This is fear. But every great mind, every Stoic, understood that fear is a mirror, showing where growth is possible. To retreat is to remain small, to confront is to expand. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Fear is a test, not of your circumstances, but of your character. And character is forged quietly, in moments where no one watches, where the mind meets its own shadows and refuses to flinch. Consider Zeno after his shipwreck. Loss and fear stripped away certainty, comfort, and safety. Yet he saw it as opportunity, because when you confront fear, you gain clarity. You learn your limits, and then, step by step, you transcend them. In practical terms, confronting fear is deliberate. Small actions taken repeatedly build courage. Speak the truth even when it terrifies. Sit alone with your thoughts when they are unpleasant. Choose responsibility over avoidance. Each moment compounds, training your mind to endure and act with integrity. Fear also teaches. It reveals attachments, illusions, and habits that no longer serve you. To meet fear is to see where you cling, where you deceive yourself, and where growth is waiting. The Stoics did not ignore fear. They studied it, dissected it, and used it as a ladder to freedom. Your challenge is the same. Look at the anxieties that follow you like shadows. Analyze them, ask yourself, what is real? What can I control? What lies within my own power? And then act decisively, without waiting for reassurance from the world. Courage is built quietly, in the mind, in reflection, in the small choices that are invisible to everyone but yourself. It is the habit of confronting discomfort until it becomes ordinary. And when ordinary discomfort is mastered, fear loses its power. This chapter guides you to understand, fear is not an enemy, but a teacher. and by facing it with reason and deliberate action, you forge the foundation of inner strength, the hallmark of the Stoic life. Now that we've named our fears, one thing becomes clear: we need discipline. Not just any discipline, but the kind that transforms us and makes us masters of ourselves. Let's talk about that. Discipline is not punishment, it is a choice to shape your mind, to direct your energy, to decide who you will become before the world decides for you. The world offers endless temptations. Every comfort, every distraction, every easy path whispers, choose ease over effort. The Stoics rejected this. They understood that mastery is built not in comfort, but in consistent, deliberate action. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Discipline, then, is not about restriction. It is about reclaiming your time, your attention, your life. Every habit formed with intention is a step toward freedom, not chains. Marcus Aurelius disciplined himself to rise early, to reflect and to act with virtue. He reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Discipline begins in the mind, in choices made when no one is watching. Imagine a life without discipline, tasks left undone, emotions uncontrolled, thoughts scattered. Contrast it with a life where each action is intentional, each moment observed, each impulse measured. The difference is profound. One life drifts, the other builds. Discipline also teaches patience. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly. Strength, wisdom, resilience, these grow slowly through repeated practice, through consistent attention to what matters. Every small act of control compounds into a mind that is steady, clear, and unshakable." Practical discipline is simple yet demanding. You do not need grand gestures. You start with small acts, rising on time, resisting impulse, reflecting before speaking, finishing what you start. Each act is a declaration. I am the master of myself. Fear will test discipline. Desire will test discipline. The mind will seek shortcuts, comfort, excuses. This is expected. What matters is persistence. What matters is returning to the practice, day after day, moment by moment. Zeno and the early Stoics taught that virtue and self-control are inseparable. You cannot build one without the other. Discipline is the bridge between understanding your ideals and living them. It is the daily exercise that transforms theory into life. And here is the secret. Discipline is freedom. The more you can control your impulses, your focus, your habits, the less the world controls you. The mind becomes sovereign. You act from principle, not from reaction. You create rather than drift. This chapter guides the viewer to see discipline as a path, not a punishment, to practice it as a means of liberation, as the foundation of courage, wisdom, and resilience. The Stoics did not preach rigidity. They taught intentional living, where every choice builds the mind that can endure, create, and prevail. Your challenge is simple yet profound. Observe your habits, control your impulses, act with intention. Let each moment be an opportunity to strengthen your mind, to sharpen your focus, to align action with virtue. And slowly, inevitably, you become unshakable. Discipline prepares us for the inevitable, pain and adversity. There's no growth without them. Let's explore how to embrace them and turn them into strength rather than a setback. Pain is not the enemy. It is the teacher that reveals what you are made of. Adversity does not break you. It exposes the foundations that must be strengthened. Every human life encounters difficulty. Loss, failure, betrayal, disappointment, they are inevitable. The question is not how to avoid them, but how to respond when they arrive. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The Stoics understood that adversity is the forge of character. Pain, when faced with reason, becomes a tool rather than a torment. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plagues, and political chaos. Yet he wrote, The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles are not roadblocks, they are opportunities to practice virtue, courage, and patience. Imagine a life without challenge. Comfort tempts you to stagnate. Without struggle, wisdom remains untested, courage unproven, character unshaped. Adversity, though harsh, is the sculptor of the mind. Epictetus reminded himself and his students, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Pain itself is neutral. It is your perception, your response, that determines whether it destroys or strengthens you. Confronting adversity requires presence and reflection. Each time you pause to assess a challenge, rather than react impulsively, you train resilience. Each time you choose reason over fear, patience over frustration, you strengthen the mind's foundation. Zeno, after losing everything in a shipwreck, said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." The clarity, purpose, and strength that arise from hardship are treasures invisible to those who flee difficulty. Pain, in the hands of a disciplined mind, becomes a ladder to freedom. This chapter guides the viewer to embrace difficulty rather than resist it, to see each challenge as a lesson, each discomfort as an opportunity. The mind is strengthened not by avoidance, but by deliberate engagement with reality as it is. Practical steps include observing your response to every setback, questioning your assumptions and asking, what can I control? What is within my power to act upon? By consistently practicing this reflection, adversity loses its power to overwhelm and becomes a path to mastery. Remember, strength is not born from ease, courage is not born from comfort, wisdom is not born from convenience. They are forged in the fires of adversity, tempered by reflection, sharpened by discipline. Let this chapter be a reminder. The world will challenge you, discomfort will find you, pain will visit. But the Stoics teach that in meeting these trials with awareness and reason, you build a mind that is unshakable, a spirit that endures, and a life guided by virtue. After understanding the value of pain and how to face it, we need to direct our energy consciously. This is where the practice of intention comes in, every action with purpose, every decision with clarity. To live without intention is to drift. To act without reflection is to be guided by the world instead of your own mind. The Stoics understood that a life unexamined is a life uncontrolled. Every action you take is a statement about who you are. The Stoics taught that deliberate living is not a luxury. It is the foundation of virtue and resilience. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Intention is the bridge between thought and action. Marcus Aurelius planned his day with care, considering not only his duties but his mindset. He reminded himself, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work, so that I may do what is necessary.'" Each action, even small, is an opportunity to practice focus, integrity, and reflection. In modern life, distractions tempt you to act without thought. Social pressures, endless tasks, and fleeting desires push you toward reaction rather than action. Intentional living asks you to pause, to consider, and to act with clarity. Each choice made deliberately reinforces the mind, strengthens character, and aligns life with your values. Consider the simplest acts, choosing what to read, what to say, how to respond. Each is an exercise in control, in awareness. The Stoics practiced intention not as theory, but as daily habit. Discipline and reflection converge in these deliberate moments. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it." Intention is the antidote. By living deliberately, you reclaim time, energy, and focus. Every deliberate choice becomes a building block for freedom and mastery. The Stoics teach, live deliberately, act with purpose, and your mind becomes unshakable. Finally, all of this leads us to the peak of our journey, personal sovereignty. By mastering distractions, fears, discipline, adversity, and intention, we begin to walk a life that truly belongs to us. Sovereignty is not granted by others, it is claimed within. It is the quiet strength that comes from knowing yourself, mastering your impulses, and standing firm regardless of the world's noise. Throughout this journey, you have confronted solitude, distraction, fear, discipline, and adversity. Each chapter is a step toward one ultimate goal: sovereignty over your own mind and life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Sovereignty begins when external circumstances no longer dictate your emotions, decisions, or peace of mind. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom and sovereignty are inseparable from self-mastery. To act deliberately, to control impulses, to confront fear and pain, this is the foundation of true liberty. Imagine a life where you are unshakable, where no insult, failure, or loss can disturb your center, where your mind is clear, your actions deliberate, and your purpose unwavering. This is the life the Stoics invite you to build. Zeno after his shipwreck, and Marcus Aurelius amidst wars and plagues, both demonstrated that sovereignty is forged in the crucible of adversity and reflection. The world does not grant it. It must be claimed daily, moment by moment, thought by thought, choice by choice. Practical application. Begin with your thoughts. Observe without judgment. Respond with reason. Practice daily reflection. Choose intentional action. Confront fear. Endure hardship. Strengthen habits. Each practice compounds, building the mind and spirit capable of sovereignty. This is the ultimate lesson. The external world may be chaotic, cruel, and unpredictable, but the inner life, the disciplined, intentional, reflective mind, remains sovereign, unshakable, and free. The path to sovereignty is neither easy nor quick, but it is open to all who dare to look inward, act deliberately, and embrace the Stoic way. Each step is a victory. Each moment of self-mastery is a declaration. I am the master of my mind, and therefore my life.